not possible to talk about engineering challenges without talking about global challenges. When we talk about, I wish this was on. When we talk about affordable housing, I wanted to, I got three housing estates. Who can guess where that is? That's Kibra. That is? No. Thank you. That's Soweto, South Africa. Where is that? No. That's Harlem. That's in the US, actually in New York. When you look at those three, which of them is affordable? I should have actually started with the Mathare, the real slum. I think when you're talking about affordable housing for different people, I think it means different for different people. Because somebody from Soweto, what do we need to have? We need to determine the target, and especially affordable housing. We need to determine the target. Who is it that we are building for? What needs are we addressing when you're doing those houses? The programs have to be comprehensive. And what do I mean by this? We need to check through the existing houses, the new developments, and everything around that. The decisions that are made must be made at the local level. It is also good to, for example, this is Kenya. This house would be very good. And I'm told we have affordable housing just next year, where people are staying and whatever. You know, when you're building for Kenya, the first thing you need to think about is security. If you know, our houses, they are so metallic. You have solid walls and solid whatever, and then it's so metallic that a thief really has to do hard to gain access to still gain anyway. Of course, establishing precise goals, what you're doing that, and the outcomes should be specified. I wanted to go through the background. And as I said, somebody living in Mathare would want to go to Kibera, would want to go to Soweto, would want to go to the Harlem in the whatever. So it's important to define what, in the Kenyan context, what we call decent housing. The right to decent housing in Kenya is a constitutional obligation from the 2010, or what was that one that we all couldn't pronounce, of the for regulation of the that one. In its broad sense, decent housing connotes housing that is inclusive of functioning infrastructure, clean and potable water, sanitation and waste management, energy, as well as proximity to facilities such as markets, health centers, schools, security posts. And everyone has a right to a standard of living adequate for their own health and the well-being of himself and his family, including food, clothing, housing, medical care, and necessary social services. If I dwell on this a bit, decent housing, I said it's functioning infrastructure. We have the National Housing Tenant Purchase, we have the public works they used to also do for the civil servants, that's whatever. There's also the private sector interventions, where we have actually, I don't know whether anybody remember the subsidized housing program, ISSB, in interlocking soil stabilized blocks. That's an innovation that I don't know how far it has gone. The challenges that we are talking about, as engineers, one of them is actually, of course, our own ethics. Because we are actually the one profession that is involved in all this, if our ethics are not in, as they say, if our hearts are not in the right place, very many things go wrong. Of course, requisite capacity for professionals, the professionals who are actually able to undertake these works. Ballooning housing in deficit, for as long as our population keeps on increasing, of course we'll continue needing more houses. Access to land, I'll discuss that. Cost of construction, I'll discuss that. Appropriate technology, I'll discuss that. Sorry, that's repeated. Access to fund and ability to pay. And access to critical utilities. Now, for example, even that Kibra we are looking at, when you see the kind of houses that they are, you can build so many more houses within that square area by allowing flats and all that. And then, of course, using the proven technologies that have been tried and proven elsewhere. Cost reduction levers. There are mainly 4 reduction levers, and many of these, or some of these, can actually be engineering related. And I'll deal with land development, operations and maintenance, and finances. We have delivery platforms. We have the community engagement that everybody has to be, involved in that. When I talk about community engagement, when you're doing the affordable housing, and I think that's something that the government really needs, funding and governance. Now, let's talk about the land. I said I'll get back to this. Land is one issue, as I said, that really has to be available and affordable for us to be able to do the affordable housing. So the solutions to this would be developing new land around transportation area, or developing transportation infrastructure where the land is available, so that everybody doesn't want to come and live in the city if you have other infrastructures elsewhere. The second one, releasing government-owned land. We have big tracts of land that are owned by the government, and they can actually be given for that. Use regulatory measures such that if there's a certain community that, land is the thing that it's what counts your wealth, the way Maasais count their wealth with cows. Unfortunately, the proposal is for the government to actually have regulations on those who are said that your land has to be developed, so that you release it for use. Assembly or readjusting land laws to allow development. For example, I gave the example of Karen, so that you don't have 5 acres of land that you can only put one house, where it can put high density units, formalizing ownership of informal land, and then reforming urban land rules to increase housing supply for all incomes. That is one. The next one is capital productivity and value engineering. This is purely engineering. When you're doing designs, what kind of designs do you need to do so that for example, I'm trying to think one. The floor height. Why does it have to be 3 meters? If you brought it to 2.7 meters, what does that mean? And it's 2.7 meters here in Wajir, in the coldest of places, so that when you're doing the housing, you actually re-engineer and you re-specify so that you get you can allow for cost reductions. Design to value means reducing unnecessary costs. As repeat the same tasks, the same products, they become more productive. Additional savings are possible through efficient procurement, so that when you're procuring a contractor and who are going to build, then you also actually make sure that it's a reasonable cost. Industrial construction, next one. And this one I was thinking of it as a production line, where, for example, and I think it's a model that the affordable housing is coming up with. If it's a door, you are making 300 units. In each unit you have 6 doors. So you are actually making 306 doors, and they are all standard doors. And therefore you go to a kind of what do you call that one? But some of the things I was looking at that affect us is land earmarked for affordable development is actually allocated to other people who have the money and don't need that land. We have, instead of doing designs by professionals, as professionals are compromised to do other things and to subscribe or to prescribe actually other things that are actually not cheap and they're not even necessary. Industrial construction method, mass production of units. When somebody realizes he has it now, then he starts lowering the quality of what he's doing. Funding, money that is for funding is the one. Even you get the money, you actually start diverting it, buying your car, buying a new wife, like most men do. Sorry. And then individuals, when you're talking about chamas, that's what contractors do, I'm sorry, some of them. Individuals within the community, that now gets back to us. The people who are actually getting that affordable housing, it's not for free. If I guarantee you, or if a chama guarantees you, and then you don't pay, then what? The whole of that makes it collapse. This may not be all engineering ideas, but I think we are all so entertained that you can't sit back and say, this is the one of the silver bullet, as I said, that will solve everything. They are all interrelated. Thank you so much, and sorry for taking the extra time.
Thank you very much. We had the